What's up? It's your boy Domuto. We back from that bit today. We're watching Charlotte Saiyan. What if Saiyans were good? Part 11, and also we watched the finale today as well. So, whoop de doo. Um, whoop de that sounded so unenthusiastic. Uh, um, yeah, let's get into it, man. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'm ready. I'm ready. I kind of see where this story goes, man. With the evil Saiyan. Frieza just pulled up on the last part, if I remember, and let's go.
Frieza fully powers up, showing off his newest power, his black form. This is a huge surprise to all the Saiyans because they didn't even see Golden in the first place. Plus, even Turles and Cumber didn't know about the black form. Now, unlike normal, Frieza wasn't training in some place where time passed slowly, rather he was just training this entire time. I mean, a lot of time has passed since the beginning of the story. And especially after encountering Turles, he kicked into high gear, which is how he unlocked this black form. Turles is honestly pretty amazed to see him in One Piece, but he's not in One Piece, he's in Dragon Ball. But Frieza says he was fully able to recover from that attack, and Turles almost did have him, but he didn't quite finish the job. Cumber doesn't care about any of this nonsense. He simply needs to grow stronger, and Frieza's an obstacle to him too. Everyone here besides Turles is an enemy, and even now he's unsure about Turles too. But you know what, if Frieza really is the strongest here, Cumber's gonna test out that power. Without hesitation, he charges towards the Emperor ready to showcase his full power. But the battle is very brief. Had Frieza simply been in his golden form, Cumber would have definitely defeated him, but this form is way too much for him. At least in his current stage. And it's pretty interesting. It seems like Cumber doesn't have any sort of transformations. Frieza easily dispatches him and then looks around. Huh, you didn't even realize. All the Saiyans here have weird hair colors. There's Broly with green hair, and then the rest of them are all blue or red. Well, besides Turles, of course. Years ago, had he encountered a Super Saiyan, he would have been terrified. But here he's seeing something way beyond that. He's seeing Super Saiyan God. And the combination of those two forms as well. To think, those legends are pretty much meaningless to him now. Even with multiple of them together, they're not going to stand a chance against him. With Cumber easily defeated, he's tossed to the side. Although he shows Cumber the same courtesy that Turles showed him, not killing him. It's not like Cumber will be a problem for him anyways. But just as Frieza is about to fight, there's a giant pillar of light that appears. Beerus and Whis arrive with Shallot and Giblet. And Frieza's a bit taken aback at first to see the God of Destruction here. But Beerus isn't here to get involved. He's just going to watch this battle. For that slight moment, they did see Frieza look a bit fearful because it seems like Beerus could have actually defeated him. Although Beerus looks around and is pretty happy at what he sees. A bunch of Super Saiyan Gods and Super Saiyan Blues. These Saiyans have definitely been putting in the work recently. And they came to draw off Shallot and Giblet because, well, they're going to be useful. Having 2 extra Super Saiyan Blues here would be really helpful. So Shallot and Giblet immediately power up, ready to face off against Frieza. They don't even get the rundown about Turles and Cumber because it seems like for the time being, it's an enemy of my enemy situation. Well, at least for Turles. He's more concerned about killing Frieza than his fellow Saiyans, so he goes along with it. He'll wipe them out later. Vegeta can't believe all this is happening at once. First of all, these 2 other Saiyans show up, and they're both evil Saiyans. But at the same time, Frieza's now here. It's not like they're unprepared, it's just this is very unexpected, especially with both of these things happening at once,
I can see
and
that.
the former not being expected at all. Well, Frieza's fine with this. If Beerus wants a show, he'll be sure to give him a show. His aura grows much larger as he charges Ki, powering up to the max. After all this time, he finally gets to kill these Saiyans. All at once, no less. He could just blow up this planet and get it done with, but that's not going to be satisfying enough. He trained for this specific reason. He wants to kill them with his own hands, not with some cheap method like that. Frieza takes on all of the remaining Saiyans at once. It is a bit tough to coordinate because obviously Frieza's way stronger than them individually, and there's a bunch of them fighting all together, and despite how well they fight together, it's still all these people fighting together at once, which is really hard to do. Turles can't believe how much stronger Frieza's grown. If only he had killed him back then. Why didn't he make sure he was dead? He didn't realize Frieza would have grown this powerful too. Now, Turles himself has grown pretty strong. He's trained a bit with Cumber, and he's definitely had more fruits from the Tree of Might since the last time he encountered Frieza. But Frieza grew at such a rapid pace. Although, maybe there is a chance. It's a good thing they're meeting Frieza now rather than later, because if they met him later on, he probably would have been so strong that they would have stood no chance at all. Here there is at least a sliver of hope, especially with Turles fighting on their side, and all of these Saiyans together, especially thanks to Beerus and Whis bringing Shallot and Giblet here. And Beerus and Whis are actually not going to intervene at all. If the Saiyans die, well, that means none of them are worthy enough to be his rivals. Even if it takes all of them at once, as long as they defeat Frieza, that will prove to him that they're worthy of that, specifically Shallot and Giblet. Show him the true power of the Super Saiyan God's descendants. Barely conscious nearby is Cumber. He hears all this talk, and he can sense the power of Shallot and Giblet. But hearing this, it sets off alarms in his brain. Wait, did he say Super Saiyan God? And not just that, the Super Saiyan God's descendants. Everyone around him had that same red hair, which he didn't really care about. They were just showing the form off. He tries to stand up, still with blurred vision, and through it he sees Shallot and Giblet. Both have blue hair now, but just from their silhouettes alone, they look like who he fought in the past, and he can feel it in their ki too. They are the descendants of the original Super Saiyan God he fought. As the Saiyans all fight Frieza, Turles also comes to see something different. He can see that these Saiyans do possess the pride and the drive of the Saiyans that he expected, despite not being ruthless like him. Maybe seeing them in combat was a good thing because now he gets to see the side of them that he thought wasn't there. How they've grown and how they fight with no regrets, it's great. They definitely embody the nature of the Saiyans, even if they're not like him. Maybe he was wrong to pick a fight against them. He didn't even really want it in the first place. But it's not important for him to focus on that right now. He needs to focus on surviving and, more importantly, killing Frieza. Paragus then falls back for a bit and calls Vegeta to him. He has an idea. With all of their power combined, they probably can defeat Frieza. The issue is combining that power. It's really hard to launch a full power coordinated attack like that all at once. Especially because Frieza's just not going to sit still for that. Like, getting all the Saiyans together to launch an attack at once would be great, but that's not going to be possible. Although, Paragus can try something similar. He can act as a beacon for them. Using spirit control, he can collect energy from all the Saiyans, and then channel it into one Saiyan who could land the final attack. And he wants that Saiyan to be Vegeta. Vegeta isn't the strongest of the group. Broly, Shallot, and Giblet are stronger, but that's not the point. First of all, those three are going to be needed to actually hold Frieza back and distract him. But more important to Paragus, he feels like it's right for Vegeta of all people to do this. This fight is a fight that they all share, but Vegeta's their leader. This is more personal for him too, and he's shown them great guidance so far, so Paragus asks him to guide them to victory. And Vegeta accepts without hesitation.
Vegeta.
Paragus can collect all of that power. So he communicates with all the Saiyans telepathically, telling them what to do. One by one, they start to grant power. It's very little by little because they still need to use their own power to fight. And it's not like they all do it at once. Like, first it's Bardock, then Raditz, then Gine, then so on, then so on. All of the Saiyans eventually lend all of their power to him. And it's a very slow process. They are able to hold off Frieza, but it's starting to seem hopeless. Like, look at how quickly he defeated Cumber. And even with all of them fighting together at once, it's still not enough to take him on. There was actually a point during the battle where some of them were starting to lose hope. Like, this happened too soon. They weren't ready to fight Frieza like this. But that's not the case. They are ready. Everything they've trained for, everything they prepared for, and that journey that led them to this planet, it was all leading up to this very moment. Frieza was supposed to encounter them here. And this is where they could finally free themselves of him. Where they could finally avenge all of the fallen Saiyans, and finally get rid of Frieza once and for all. They've suffered for decades under Frieza. Even before the destruction of Planet Vegeta, they suffered. Paragus continues collecting energy. It's so much that he could barely contain it within himself, so he starts to channel it into Vegeta. And then they get the final piece of what they need. Broly, Shallot, and Giblet lend their energies. And surprisingly, even Turles lends his energy too. He can't let a fellow Saiyan die, especially by the hands of Frieza. He would have loved to be the one to kill Frieza himself, but he missed that chance before. Even if he missed that chance, he could still be a part of it here. He still can take a part in defeating Frieza. Frieza then floats up into the sky and points out each finger at all the Saiyans below. This fight's getting boring for him. He's had his fun with them, and now he'll just kill them. From each finger, he launches an individual beam, ready to kill 10 of the Saiyans all at once. And Vegeta's about to jump in and stop this, but it's already too late. The beams have all been launched and 10 random targets have been chosen. But the lasers never hit their targets. Well, all the targets were hit by something. A couple of the Saiyans are injured, but it's like something hit them and knocked them out of the way of the attack. And they weren't hit by intentionally lethal attacks. Not too far away, Vegeta feels a familiar energy, and he smiles, feeling comfort in this. Tarble and Nappa immediately recognize it too. The nearest planet illuminates the sky, and on that planet sits a lone sniper, Granola. Glad to see the Saiyans are still okay. He's been watching this fight and was waiting for the right time to intervene. He couldn't really do too much here, and there's nothing his attacks could have done against Frieza. But with his aim, he just saved all those Saiyans, and for a brief moment, he did distract Frieza because Frieza looks around to see who did that. It's not like he could see to another planet, unlike Granola. His vision has improved heavily. Not that Frieza would have been able to match his vision before anyways. And with this brief distraction, all of the other Saiyans give this final push, lending the rest of their energy to Paragus, who channels it into Vegeta. And Vegeta feels such immense power flowing through him that he could barely contain it now too, just like Paragus. What he's feeling right now, this isn't just power, this is hope. It's the spirit of the Saiyans, their drive. It's the pure essence of the Saiyans,
Vegeta,
held all within the Saiyan Prince, wielded as a weapon to finally get rid of Frieza. And Vegeta powers up beyond his maximum. He starts glowing radiantly, and he dashes across the battlefield. For a split second, Frieza looked away trying to find where Granola shot from. But he turns back and sees Vegeta darting towards him, surprisingly fast too. None of the other Saiyans move that fast. And the power that's coming off him, even the pressure from his aura alone, Frieza can tell something's different with it. And Vegeta yells out, "No more." This is where Frieza dies, and where the Saiyans are reborn. He hits Frieza with a devastating punch, flying right through him, tearing the Emperor right in half. But the second Vegeta made contact, all of his energy went into Frieza too. As Frieza split apart, he thinks it's nothing. He survived worse before. This isn't like any attack he's faced before though. The spirit and energy of all the Saiyans courses through him, a combined attack channeling all of their power. Desperately, Frieza tries to hang on, but it's too much for him to handle. He's consumed by all the power flowing through him, screaming out as he turns into a brilliant explosion. A nice fireworks show for the Saiyans. Vegeta floats there nearby, injured, tired out, but also content. He put all of his power into that attack too, of course, and he instantly drops down into his base form and then falls to the ground, unconscious with all the other Saiyans ready to celebrate. And you know, Beerus was pretty impressed by that. Their fight with Frieza is over. But their fight isn't over. There's another power surging nearby. The Saiyans are all pretty badly beaten and also pretty worn out too. And Cumber's no exception, injured and also tired. But still, that thing he heard before about the Super Saiyan God's descendants, it can't be true, right? With an immense amount of adrenaline flowing through his body, he stands up, barely being able to do so at first, but then regaining his composure. He gets a good look at Shallot and Giblet, and slowly, he steps towards them. They turn around and immediately feel his evil presence, knowing that something's wrong. They still didn't get the rundown about what happened. Nappa tells them that guy's apparently some ancient evil Saiyan, and that rings a bell for the twins. That's what Whis and Beerus told them about. They look over at Turles too, and they can feel the same energy coming from him, but this is different. Turles is a modern evil Saiyan. This is an ancient evil Saiyan. As Cumber gets closer and closer to them, his power grows more and more. His aura grows fiercer and fiercer. Embarrassed by Frieza, and now having to encounter the descendants of the person that defeated him so long ago. It's all so humiliating. Where is his strength as a warrior? Why is he not doing anything to stop this? And his eyes dart over at Turles. He fought alongside them. Is Turles being swayed by these weak Saiyans? Turles always had a soft spot for Saiyans in general, but Cumber can't believe this behavior. It's despicable, and Turles doesn't know what's happening with Cumber. Now, Turles isn't good at all, but he sees no reason to exterminate these Saiyans, especially after just fighting with them. But Cumber definitely has something different in mind. He's wholly consumed by rage and power, and those Saiyans should all be extinguished. His aura grows fiercer and fiercer. And then, his hair starts to change too. His power is overflowing. Now, he's definitely not as strong as Frieza, but with all the Saiyans being so weakened and having given all their energy to Vegeta, it's definitely going to be no easy task fighting Cumber. Especially because he transforms.
Oh, shit.
While still retaining the power of an evil Saiyan, he then turns into something they're all too familiar with, a Super Saiyan. For the first time, Cumber's become a Super Saiyan, but with the added bonus of him having an immense amount of power on top of that, displayed in his evil aura. So, yes, they defeated Frieza, and their fight with him is over. But now, round 2 begins against a new enemy. If they're going to survive, they'll have to defeat Cumber as well. Beerus and Whis find it quite interesting. First, they had to get rid of Frieza, but he wasn't the only reminder of their past, the only thing that held them back. It seems the evil Saiyans weren't completely dealt with either. Beerus and Whis wonder how those Saiyans will deal with this. And with that, we'll leave off here for now. Saiyans were good. Cumber continues growing further in Super Saiyan.
Finale.
Everyone by now is already weakened by Frieza and the previous fights with Turles and Cumber as well. Shallot and Giblet are in the best conditions because they arrived here latest. But with Cumber getting a second wind and being that strong, they're not too sure what to do here as their next option. Cumber first looks over at Turles, then launching a concussive blast, setting Turles flying across the planet. Turles is too weak-minded to be his ally. Even though Turles only temporarily teamed up with the Saiyans just to fight Frieza, Cumber thinks he was using them as a crutch. He shouldn't have done that. He could have handled that alone, and he's clearly hesitating against the Saiyans as well, otherwise he wouldn't have done that. He's glad Frieza came here. It showed him the light and helped him grow stronger. Now he knows Turles is not someone to be trusted. But more importantly, Cumber's grown from that experience, and he's going to use that power to wipe out the rest of the Saiyans for good. His ki dramatically surges, and everyone gets back up, quickly jumping into fight. From that nearby planet, a bunch of blasts are fired from Granola as well. Cumber simply turns around, launching his own blast, swallowing up Granola's attacks. Now, unlike Granola, his eyesight isn't good enough to tell him where Granola is and let him attack him directly. But you know what? If that guy's going to be a cowardly sniper, then Cumber will just get rid of him for good, charging up his own blast aimed in the general direction of the planet that Granola's on. He can't tell where he is, but this will wipe out the entire solar system and everything behind it. So, wherever Granola's hiding, he will be eliminated by this. Cumber launches the blast, but before it leaves the atmosphere, somebody teleports in front of it and then kicks it away. It's Broly, barely saving Granola in the process. Without hesitation, he then jumps in and starts wrestling with Cumber directly, as all the other Saiyans jump back. Cumber admires how tenacious this Saiyan is. He's strong, and he has power derived from rage, almost similar to him in a way. But still, he's too weak to win here. Look at him, trying to control his Saiyan nature. If he wants true power, he should let it take control of him instead. As the two struggle against each other, Broly then splits himself into multiple fighters. Now, these clones are all weak because Broly didn't want to split off too much of his power, but this is more of a distraction. Cumber doesn't know which one is the most powerful Broly, and they still attack him, but the main objective for this is different. Either way though, Cumber finally comes to see what Broly is. He's mutated because he has the blood of an evil Saiyan coursing through him, doesn't he? Yeah, that has to be it. The blood of an evil Saiyan in the body of a good Saiyan. And the reason he struggles for control so much is because that evil side tries to take over, but his good nature struggles for its own control too. Hence why he used to go berserk when trying to use his full power. It's very small, but Cumber could feel that evilness within his ki. And you know what? He sees an opportunity here. This could be good for something. He wonders if he could bring Broly to his side by amplifying that evil ki. And Paragus can't believe what he's hearing either. Is that really the case? He never even thought of it like that. But Cumber then sees that some of Broly's clones aren't actually attacking him. They're going over to the other Saiyans. The reason he split himself up is so he could actually heal the others, and Paragus ends up doing the same, figuring out what Broly's doing. Cumber then simply lifts a hand in the air, launching a blast that splits up and goes towards all the Broly clones, destroying them all. But it's already too late because Broly's healed the other Saiyans, although that doesn't really matter to Cumber. What he's more focused on now is Broly. You know, if he puts his evil ki into another Saiyan, maybe that'll make them go berserk, but especially someone like Broly, that might work out really well. That could amplify his evilness.
Don't do
He
it.
thinks it's long suppressed, and it might not even be there anymore. But whatever it takes, he'll make Broly give in to his evil nature. And then, the next Saiyans. Broly and Paragus have now lost a lot of their energy because they spent all that healing others, but at least this means the others are healed a fair amount. And Paragus continues going around healing people who haven't been fully healed. He eventually finds Turles as well. Turles is pretty injured and mostly in disbelief. He can't believe what he's unleashed either. He knew Cumber was a loose cannon, but to think he turned on him directly. Paragus is surprised he didn't realize this before. He should have known when he freed that guy, because Paragus doesn't even know what his deal is, and he could just tell by looking at him. That's not a guy to trust. Turles thought it would work out, but clearly, the two of them don't have the same goals, even if he once thought they did. Turles is an evil Saiyan by blood, but he's not a mindless monster like that just destroys everything in his path just for the sake of power. Well, he kinda does. But he had a purpose for getting that power. It was mainly to defeat Frieza, and just to prove the superiority of the Saiyans. But Frieza's gone. Paragus doesn't get this. The Saiyans were fine as a peaceful race. Why must Turles go on this conquest? What's with this ideal that he's so much better than everyone for being an evil Saiyan, or just a Saiyan in general? He has way too much pride in himself, and it ended up nearly leading him to his death. Turles still has value to the other Saiyans, but now he's kind of rethinking things, especially after seeing them in person. He didn't want to go against them in the first place, but he shouldn't have brought Cumber back. That was inherently going against the Saiyans in general. Maybe the new way of Saiyan life isn't as bad as he thought. He thought they lost their way and became weak. But then another Saiyan butts in. Kakarot arrives. No, they didn't lose their way. Turles did. Clearly the path that these Saiyans have taken is the right path, and not the one that Turles took. And you know, if Turles really does value the Saiyans as a whole, he should prove that by fighting alongside them. Why fight against them? Cumber is the enemy here, and he's turned on Turles. There's no reason to be on his side anymore, and Turles can't believe it. The other Saiyans aren't like him at all, but they're still giving him a chance. They're good Saiyans fighting for survival. They finally got rid of Frieza, and they simply just want to bring all the other Saiyans back, at least the good ones. But they still haven't reached their true goal of survival until Cumber is dealt with. The only thing standing in the way of the Saiyans actually prospering is the fact that Cumber's around. Turles made things worse if anything. Bringing Cumber back is like working with Frieza. Both will lead to the full destruction of the Saiyans. But still, it's not over yet. Kakarot thinks Turles can change too. He's clearly hesitant about what he's done, and that's why they didn't kill him right away. Turles can still make things right, but he needs to decide what he wants to do. Meanwhile, Cumber is still fighting Broly, and eventually he gives some of his evil ki to him. The evil ki begins to take over Broly. With any Saiyan, this would have the same effect, making them go berserk as they can't contain it, basically affecting them with the nature of an evil Saiyan just like he and Turles have. But for Broly it's different, somebody who already had issues controlling his rage and such. Sure, this means Cumber has to give away some of his ki, but still, this is a fine experiment. It'll be fun to see what the outcome of this is. As he lends Broly more evil ki, Broly's power then returns, and he goes berserk in the process. But Shallot and Giblet step in to intervene. Thankfully they didn't do the Super Saiyan God ritual on him, because otherwise he would have been completely unstoppable right now with the evil ki. Although it does make them wonder what evil ki would do if he were in a Super Saiyan God form right now. No point worrying about that. They need to fix Broly and stop Cumber as well. Broly begins to lose control as he struggles further, trying to regain his control back, and he fights Shallot and Giblet, while Cumber returns to fighting the other Saiyans all at once. Thankfully, Broly is pretty injured, and he lost a lot of power by healing the others, so this power-up from Cumber took a little bit of energy from Cumber, and it basically just restored Broly back to where he was before. Shallot and Giblet are two of the stronger Saiyans too, so maybe they could take him on alone. The rest of the group tries fighting off Cumber, but an unexpected ally joins. Turles re-enters the fight, having been healed by Paragus, agreeing with him and Kakarot. They're right, Cumber's in their way. And besides, what's the point of having Cumber around if Turles wants to be the strongest? He's another obstacle, just like Frieza, someone who he needs to defeat. Not just for his sake, but the sake of the Saiyans as a whole. He fights alongside the other Saiyans, and Cumber hates seeing this. He knew Turles was against him, but to see him fighting alongside the Super Saiyan gods, that's despicable.
You mad
but
or
Turles
something
doesn't
about
directly fight Cumber at first. He goes for Broly, simply placing a hand on him and absorbing all the evil ki that Broly took in, taking it for himself and using it to empower himself further. Broly returns back to normal as the ki surges through Turles. He controls it all for himself. The true nature of a Saiyan isn't to plow down everything in their way. He now sees what it is. Saiyans get their strength through tenacity and always aiming to improve. Besides, this fight is now a fight for survival for him as well. Cumber stands in his way too. And now he directly goes for Cumber. Cumber's now finally being pushed back. His own strength is being used against him because now it's fueling Turles. And all the other Saiyans can fully focus on him once more. Even with Broly and Paragus out of the fight, they now have the strength to back themselves up. Cumber tries to tap into more power as a Super Saiyan, but they're slowly chipping away at him. Vegeta wonders how this will go. He seems almost unstoppable, but these Saiyans have no limits. They can overcome unstoppable. And as they all fight together, Bardock asks Kakarot what he saw in Turles, and Kakarot says honestly, he's not sure. He could just feel that they could lead him down a better path, and it would be nice to have another strong ally like that too. He clearly was unsure, and Kakarot simply showing him the way. Granola is also still trying to provide support as well, although it's really hard from the planet he's on, but still, he does what he can. He's watching over everything, and even if he can't do much, he's not going to let his brothers die without at least trying. Frieza's gone, but this fight is his too. And thanks to Broly and Paragus, Vegeta is now fully healed again, and got a nice boost in power too, especially with how injured he was against Frieza. He powers up once more, showcasing an evolved version of Super Saiyan Blue, gained from the overflowing power that he had before, and he fights directly alongside Turles, the leader of the good Saiyans, and the person who tried to lead the evil Saiyans. Now fighting hand in hand, Kakarot, Shallot, and Giblet join at the forefront as well. And Bardock tries to add some of his power too, 5 godly Super Saiyans fighting together, alongside an evil Saiyan using his power to fight another evil Saiyan. And all the Super Saiyan gods channel their energy together. It's not intentional either. It's almost like they accidentally perform another Super Saiyan god ritual, except this time, Cumber's the target. As they coalesce all of their power together, it's channeled into Cumber. It's amplified, and it's not something he could hold either. Instead, it's poison to him, the pure energy of all these godly Super Saiyans all at once, those with righteous hearts. Vegeta says this will be the last time history repeats itself. They're done staying trapped in the past. But once more, the good Saiyans will overcome the evil Saiyan. With one final push, all of their ki is channeled into Cumber, and Turles jumps back, almost affected by it as well. Cumber's power continues overflowing, and he can't even contain it anymore. There's an internal battle inside of him. The godly ki of the other Super Saiyans courses through his veins, destroying him from the inside. And then, that ki all spills out. There's a blinding light as Cumber explodes, finally at his limit, and unable to contend against this power all multiplied together. The Saiyans finally power down. The battle is seemingly done, and Beerus commends them, stepping in and congratulating them for winning 2 fights. Yeah, he's actually been here this entire time, watching from the atmosphere above. It was quite a spectacle. They forgot why he was there and they wonder why he didn't get involved. Well, this wasn't his fight, and besides, his rivals had this in the bag. This really served as proof of the Saiyan strength, and Vegeta realizes they finally made it. No longer do they have to live in Frieza's shadow. Every obstacle to the Saiyans is gone, although there is one more loose end. Turles. He makes it clear, he's not their enemy, but the Saiyans say he doesn't need to be a stranger to them. He clearly is conflicted, and he may be an evil Saiyan by blood, but he doesn't have to be like Cumber was. He could join them in their new Saiyan Empire. What do they mean? All the Saiyans are gone. It's just the small group of Saiyans. Well, not exactly. Bardock's family returns to Namek, and they make a wish from the Dragon Balls. They ask for planet Vegeta to be restored. Now they need to figure out what to do to actually revive all of the Saiyans because a wish like this can't be done. They've been dead for so long, and Namek's Dragon Balls haven't actually been upgraded either. What dragon can grant a wish that brings back a group of people that have been dead for a while? Well, Vegeta, Tarble, and Nappa have that covered. Oddly enough, the dragon on planet Cereal is pretty strong. I mean, we saw what it was capable of in the Granola arc. Taranba was able to make Granola the universe's strongest. So, I think reviving a group of people that have been dead for many years, that shouldn't be a big issue for him. So after planet Vegeta is brought back, a wish is made to Taranba to bring all of the Saiyans back as well. At least all of the good ones. Saiyan society could finally live in peace once more, and they're now free from Frieza's oppression. Of course, one of the people brought back is King Vegeta. He can't believe it. He's been dead for a while, but now he's back in the living world. Back on his normal planet, surrounded by all of his fellow Saiyans. Another wish was made on Namek to actually send all the Saiyans here because some of them died on planets that were far away, and now every Saiyan is back on this planet. And King Vegeta finally reunites with his son. He can't express how proud he is, but he's also disappointed. He didn't get to see his sons grow into the fine warriors they are today. But at the very least, he could watch them usher in a new era of Saiyan society. Vegeta IV will still lead the Saiyans, and he's no longer going to be the prince. Officially, King Vegeta III passes on his title to Vegeta IV, making his son the new king of the Saiyans. Shallot and Giblet still stay with Beerus and Whis because Beerus is intrigued by them. Sure, there are plenty of other strong Saiyans, but Beerus wants to test them a little bit more. And while most of the Saiyans did return to this planet, some of them still do visit their old homes. Like Vegeta, Tarble, and Nappa, they visit Cereal from time to time. Bardock's family, they visit Namek from time to time. And one permanently relocates somewhere else, Kakarot. In his time on Earth, he actually grew a lot closer with Chi-Chi. And it's perfect timing too. After the defeat of Frieza and Cumber, now he can live a peaceful life here, and he even has a kid too, the first hybrid Saiyan ever born. Although he's not going to be named Gohan, because he doesn't know who Grandpa Gohan is, so he'd either give Gohan a Saiyan name, or maybe even just name him after Bardock or something, unless Chi-Chi gets her say and decides to name him something crazy like Einstein or whatever. Let's hope Kakarot gets to choose the name. And as for Turles, he returns to planet Vegeta. He has the power of an evil Saiyan, but that doesn't need to define him. He'll continue to grow and prosper. And you know, maybe he needs to get a set of those Dragon Balls for himself to make up for all the planets he's destroyed. It is a long process. Turles doesn't just become good overnight. But slowly and surely, the Saiyans around him who gave him a second chance, they're able to mold him into something new. Just like the Saiyans were able to take their bad situation before and mold it into something brand new, bringing back Saiyan society and starting a brand new chapter. When Frieza destroyed planet Vegeta, that wasn't the end. Rather, it was the beginning of a new era of Saiyans. Although, this isn't just a new beginning for Universe 7 Saiyans. Of course, after all their time with Beerus, Shallot and Giblet by now know about the other universes, and the other Saiyans do too. And it makes them curious. Do Saiyans exist elsewhere? Well, yeah. In Universe 6, which is a twin universe to Universe 7, Apparently there is a planet of Saiyans. Champa does visit Beerus one day and comes to learn how strong the Saiyans in this universe are, even after what they went through. And it makes him wonder, could he find a rival like that in his universe? Well, there's only one way to find out. Champa tries to get the Super Dragon Balls here, but says he'll give up on that as long as the Saiyans in his universe grow stronger from the Saiyans in Beerus' universe. So a couple Saiyans are sent out, Shallot and Giblet, who are descendants of the Super Saiyan God, as well as the two Vegetas, the former and current ruler of the Saiyans now.
Okay.
They would definitely want to meet King Sadala and the rest of the Saiyans there. The two Vegetas meet King Sadala, as well as some of the other top Saiyans in Universe 6. But amidst their meeting, Vegeta comes across one of the elite soldiers. He looks surprisingly young, but apparently he's one of the stronger Saiyans here. His name's Cabba, and maybe he could use this Saiyan as a perfect example. If they want to grow stronger, Vegeta is going to have to know where they stand right now after all. And Cabba says it would be an honor to accept. He can't believe the king of the Saiyans in another universe is taking interest in him. Something about him draws Vegeta to him. And the former King Vegeta converses with King Sadala, watching this battle unfold. Universe 6 Saiyans are pretty strong even just in their base, but they know nothing about Super Saiyan or any of the god forms for that matter. They spend hours talking about the history of each of their universes, while Vegeta spars with Cabba and some of the other Saiyans here. Shallot and Giblet of course join too, and explain more about their origins.
Okay.
This is a really fun experience, and Vegeta would definitely love to come
I like
back
this
here.
ending. This is a great
Although
ending.
he does have a lot on his plate because now he's the king of the Saiyans in Universe 7, and he has a lot to manage there, especially since they just came back to life. So it might not be for a while, but he definitely does want to come back here. After all, these are Saiyans. It might be from another universe and another planet Sadala, but still. In Vegeta's eyes, they're all connected. He sees the potential in every Saiyan, not just his universe, but the entire multiverse.
Sadala.
He does have to focus on his own for now.
Whatever.
But he would love to come back here, especially to see how much the other Saiyans have grown. Next time he comes here, he's going to fight Cabba first, and he tells Cabba he better have Super Saiyan. He pays his respects to King Sadala, and says he's just as welcome to visit planet Vegeta in Universe 7 if he ever wants to. He hopes to see them all soon, but for now, he has to tend to his planet. To think there's even more Saiyans out there than he realized. It's quite the revelation. As planet Vegeta begins to prosper again under Vegeta's guidance, Vegeta the Fourth that is, this is where we end our story. What did you guys think about this scenario as a whole?
Pretty good story, man. Like I said, I like how they ended, man. Beautiful ending. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Check out the last chapter, and then check out another video right here. Let me know what next story you want me to react to next, and I'll catch y'all next time, man. Peace.